Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Monday Night Raw broadcast live on USA Network from the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi, Texas. The closing moments of the show saw the re-emergence of Uncle Howdy, this time with a new faction, the Wyatt Six, with Howdy portrayed by the former Bo Dallas. Rounding out the rest of the group under new personas were Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and Eric Rowan. The segment followed the conclusion of the main event, in which Jey Uso qualified for Money in the Bank by winning a triple threat against Rey Mysterio and Finn Balor.
Balor up top rope. Balor with a coup de grace to Rey. Cover. Uso splash to Balor. Cover on Balor. Jey Uso qualifies.
In the opening segment, Seth Rollins returned to WWE television for the first time since WrestleMania and was issued a challenge by World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest for a title match at Money in the Bank. In an angle elsewhere on the show, Drew McIntyre stated that he was quitting WWE after CM Punk cost him the world title at Clash at the Castle.
I can't do this anymore. Screw this company. I quit.
What?
I'm serious.
There's a million ways we can handle this. Do not end it like this. Listen to me.
Another angle saw the apparent dissolution of Alpha Academy as Otis laid out Chad Gable, then left the ring with Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. The angle followed Gable's loss to Braun Strowman. In another Money in the Bank qualifier, Io Sky won a triple threat against Kiana James and Zelina Vega. In other results, Carlito beat Dragon Lee with outside help from JD McDonough. Caden Carter and Katana Chance topped Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane. And Sheamus defeated Braun Breaker by disqualification due to outside interference from Ludwig Kaiser. Following the match, Breaker speared Sheamus out on the floor. Kaiser then attacked Sheamus but was speared by Breaker as well. In ratings news, SmackDown dropped below 2 million viewers running against Game 4 of the NBA Finals on Friday night, according to WrestleNomics. Friday's episode brought in 1.959 million viewers to Fox, down from the previous week's audience of 2.207 million. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old demographic was a .52, also down from the previous week's rating of .61. AEW Rampage drew an audience of 334,000 later the same evening on TNT, according to WrestleNomics. That's up from the previous week's audience of 256,000. The demo rating for Rampage was a .12, also up from the previous week's .09. In injury news, Asuka recently underwent successful knee surgery, as she reported yesterday on social media. Her next step reportedly will be to undergo physical rehabilitation to begin the recovery process. Asuka sustained the knee injury during the March 15th episode of SmackDown. And in TNA wrestling news, Anthem Entertainment, TNA's parent company, has hired former WWE executive Rob Clickbait as the new Chief Revenue Officer for Anthem Sports. Clickbait will report to Anthem's president, Anthony Ciccone. Said Ciccone in a press release put out yesterday, quote, his duties as Anthem Sports Group CRO will place special emphasis on TNA Wrestling and Invicta FC, for which he is uniquely suited after spending 8 successful years with WWE. His professional wrestling prowess and sports industry relationships will prove vital as we continue to create and cultivate new areas of growth and opportunities to take TNA and Invicta to even greater heights, end quote. Clickbait worked as WWE's Vice President of Global Digital and Integrated Sponsorship Sales, overseeing lucrative sponsorship deals with such advertisers as Coca-Cola, AT&T, Geico, Nestle, Papa John's, and Mars Snickers. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.